icon when you subscribe so you'll be notified every time I'm on YouTube.
So today, let's talk a little bit about the Void Pro. Now, I tried out the predecessor models to the Void Pro, and I have to say that they were lacking in some way. Apparently, a lot of people thought that, but I think that Corsair went in and fixed a lot of issues. You can tell that just by looking at it. For example, you've got a better microphone length, but when listening to them, they broadcast a better sound, and the input to them, you're actually hearing something better. Now, something to remember with this type of model, they are very comfortable because they use memory foam. However, that is going to lead to some issues with sound leakage. You know, you're not going to get a good seal because of that, so people are going to be able to hear you. You're going to be able to hear people. Just keep that in mind. You know, if that is an issue, that is something that you definitely want to consider. Now, when looking at these, I want to look at the make, and then we'll go from there. So when you're looking at a make of something, you want to look at everything basic, first of all. You want to look at stitching, for example, make sure that everything's there, no problems at all. You want to make sure that, you know, with bolting, you want to make sure there's no cheap portions. You also want to look at what they thought about, because that says something about it. You know, when they're hiding stitching, for example, up here, you know, with a cheaper headphone, a lot of times the stitching will be out, but they actually hid it away. Also with the slide, you want to see if there's things that break down. Durability is a huge component. You're not just talking about what it's made out of, because this is it's a good component model. You know, you're talking about good quality of parts here, and it's got a good heft and everything, but you're also wanting to know how it's made, because sooner or later, certain things will give out, you know, if you move them too much, if they're made cheaply. With this is kind of a no-frill design. You can look at the slider, for example, and tell that it's a pretty basic in that way, but it's also a good design. For example, they even thought about, they gave numbers instead of just, you know, the slide component. So you don't have to try to remember if it's 3 clicks you had it down. You can remember that your head fits at a size 6. I think that's good. Looking at the inside, you know, you can tell how the slide is designed. Overall, I think that's good and will hold up very well. Also, you know, there's nothing impeding when it's turning. There's nothing catching, anything that indicates that there's quality there. Something else that you want to look at is the way that everything's laid out. You know, when you're talking about like a power button, mute button, your controls, porting, you know, lights. One thing I like with this, for example, is the red light indicating that my microphone is off. You know, if I slide it out, my microphone's on, you can see it. You also hear it, it beeps at you, but you can tell, you know, you see that light internally. So that's actually a pretty good design there. Now, when you're looking at the memory foam, this is actually very, very good as far as comfort is concerned. Now, with these, they do have a little bit of heft to them. They are 13.8 ounces, I believe, or around 0.86 pounds. So you do have some heft, but when you're wearing them, they're actually very comfortable, and that doesn't really bother you. I was actually surprised. First of all, when I picked them up, I thought, well, these are kind of heavy, to be honest, but I don't notice that at all. And it's the way that they sit. You know, with this much foam at the top, for example, I would think that would be a problem. In a lot of models, that would be too much. But with these, it actually works out very well, because the memory foam is very reactive. And all in all, I mean, that feels really good. If you get a chance to, you know, try some of these out in person, feel these. I mean, it'll really win you over. And again, though, one thing to remember is that sound leakage. You are trading off comfort for that isolation. So when you look at the cuffs, they're actually pretty large. Now, something to remember with a heavier headphone like this, if you're talking a heavier headphone that will loosen out, you're going to get a little bit of slidage. So, you know, if you're very animated, move around a lot, these will move on you. You know, it would take a lot to actually slide them off, but still, I think that's something important to talk about. Now, when we're looking at these as well, we're going to look at the control panel with them. So let me adjust this for us, and let me get this light out of the way. So when you're looking at it, it's a pretty easy to understand setup. You know, you have basically your 2 areas that you're going to pick from. You're going to choose from your EQ settings and your lighting effects. Now, your EQ settings, it's very easy to pick what you do or don't want. You know, you can see clear chat, bass boost, pure direct, movie theater, and FPS competition. Now, that's pretty good. It's got some good settings here, and you can tell some difference on the sound. Also, if you look over to this side, you're going to see microphone volume, and you'll see the side tone. Now, side tone is basically listening to yourself in that. Sometimes that can be very annoying, so I don't really keep that on. But if you want to hear how you're going to sound in it, that's actually a good way to kind of test and see how you're broadcasting, if you are picking up. If you want to know if you're talking or not, that's a good way to do that. Now, with lighting effects in general, you have quite a few different lighting effects here. Yeah, everything goes from, say, static color. Now, with your coloration, you can see that the coloration that's coming through here, I'm going to move these up so you can actually see what we're doing. But you can see, like I said, a blue that I have selected. It's very easy. You can either select just a solid color, you can slide, or you can select the number that you want. For different settings, blink, you have your different types of blinks. You have your single blink, it goes in double blinks, rapid blinking, alternating blink types. You can tell where it blinks for a different color, basically. For breathing, you have your pulse, a lot of things. Now, for some reason, pulse is always referred to as breathing. So you have your slow breath and your slow, long breath as well in your settings. For beat, you have basically the offbeat and the heartbeat on there. You have a rainbow pulse. You basically can pick the speed to that to see how fast you want that to go. Rainbow, again, speed. And you have your lighting link. With lighting link, you have different, color shift effects, which are kind of interesting sometimes. And you have your alternating color setup, which you can pick, and then speed. So you have a lot of control over that. You also, when you're looking at your settings, you have your stereo setting if you want it. This may be a little glary, but you have a stereo setting and Dolby setting. So like I said, it's very easy to understand. You get in here and you start messing with it. You can tell exactly what you're doing, what you want to do. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. Now, you also, another thing too, if you want to update, there's actually an updating switch and everything. So again, that's not hard to figure out. Now, I'm probably going to record a sample of what this does sound like, but I'm going to switch over to a website real quick, and I'm going to turn the sound up so you can hear how much this thing leaks too. Now, that's going to take just a minute, so I'm going to pause this. All right, now, this is at low volume. I have my computer on a 14 out of 100, but as you improve sound, you can see how much sound leaks out. Now that's pretty loud though, but it just gives you an idea of how much sound leakage that you're going to have.